And now they walk into Miami Stadium on July 11th, 2026, carrying something that cannot be manufactured by experience or history: freedom. Erling Haaland was born in 1990, the same year England last reached a World Cup semi-final. He grew up watching Stuart Pearce's penalty hit the post only as archive footage, a grainy clip from someone else's national wound. He doesn't carry 7 quarter-final exits. He doesn't know what it means to be expected to deliver something a nation has waited 60 years to receive. When he trains, the only weight he carries is the one he puts on the bar. The Norway camp in the days before the match was quiet in a different way from England's. No talk of history, no weight of occasion in the press conferences. Just a group of players who have already exceeded every expectation their country ever held, simply by arriving at this stage. Everything from here is pure gain. For England, it is never pure gain. Even victory only partially satisfies. Every England win at a major tournament is quietly filed away as further evidence that the wait might, just might, be ending, which means every loss reopens the same wound. Ståle Solbakken has built a Norway side that runs more, argues less, and scores when it has no right to. A team that knows exactly what it is and has no interest in being anything else. That clarity is a difficult opponent for any side. It is a particularly difficult opponent for a side still in the process of deciding whether it believes in itself. The monument had one flaw: it was built on a filtered memory. More than half the population of Britain watched on black and white television sets. They saw the trophy lifted. They did not see everything that happened inside Hendon Hall in the weeks before. Back in the tunnel at Miami Stadium, the same tunnel from the opening of this story, the players in white shirts are about to learn what the men of 1966 already knew and what the myth forgot to mention. Geoff Hurst described the morning of the final as the longest of his life. He lay awake in the team hotel before dawn, running through scenarios he had no control over, wondering if his legs would respond the way he needed them to when the moment came. Bobby Moore, the captain, the man who would lift the trophy 8 hours later, spent part of that morning sitting alone in the corridor outside his room, too restless to stay in bed, too uncertain to speak. These were not monuments. These were footballers, nervous, uncertain. They simply won anyway. The mythology that grew around that summer stripped out the anxiety and left only the result: a clean, golden memory with no doubt in it, and every generation that followed was handed that sanitized version, then asked to match it. Not the real 1966, with its sleepless players and its midnight arguments and its captain sitting alone in a hotel corridor. The monument 1966, the impossible standard. The lesson from 2002, where England carried genuine talent and failed to convert it into progression, sits as a reminder that quality alone has never been England's problem. The problem is almost always something harder to coach. Miami Stadium, 5 p.m. local time, the tunnel, 60 years of history pressing against the back of every white shirt. Norway stepping out into the same light, unencumbered, hungry, free. Harry Kane knows what is at stake. He has lived inside this expectation for his entire career. There is a photograph from the 2018 semi-final, taken not during the match but in the tunnel afterwards, in which Kane is still wearing his kit, boots untied, staring at nothing in particular. He had won the Golden Boot. England were out. The expression is not devastation. It is something quieter and harder to name. A man who has done everything individually asked of him and still arrived at the wrong destination. He has scored goals at major tournaments. He has watched England exit anyway. Tonight is different only in that every night feels different, right up until the moment it ends exactly the same way, or until it doesn't. Because here is what 60 years of near misses also contains: 90 minutes of genuine possibility. The ball drops, England press forward. Norway hold their shape and look for Haaland on the counter. Somewhere in that contest, in the gaps between pressure and release, in the set pieces that arrive and demand an answer immediately, history is being written. Not the monument version, the real version, with all the doubt still inside it. Time for now has not stopped, but it is running. And the only question that has ever mattered, the one that has haunted 60 years of white shirts and warm summers, is whether this generation can finally walk out from under the shadow, not by forgetting 1966, but by adding something to it. Beyond the bench, this is beyond the bench. That pride never fully left. And 60 years later, 11 men in white are about to find out whether the monument they inherited still has weight, or whether it has finally become something they can carry. Since 1966, England have appeared in 16 World Cups, 16 attempts. One result worth remembering. The exits tell their own story. 3 times England failed to qualify at all: 1974, 1978, 1994. 3 tournaments England never even started. In 1994, a side that included Paul Gascoigne, Peter Beardsley, and David Platt watched the finals from their living rooms. The squad that should have gone to America stayed home. No injury, no bad luck. Just a qualifying campaign that ended in a draw in Rotterdam and a silence that lasted for months. 3 more times they failed to make it past the group stage, and at the quarter-final stage, more exits than any other nation in World Cup history. 7 quarter-final defeats, 7, each one carrying its own particular kind of pain. Mexico City. Diego Maradona raised his left hand to the sky and punched the ball past Peter Shilton. The referee saw nothing. The linesman saw nothing. England saw everything. 4 years later, Italia 90 brought a different wound. The semi-final. West Germany again. Penalties, Stuart Pearce, Chris Waddle. A nation watched through its fingers and lost anyway. Then 2018 in Russia offered the most dangerous thing of all: real hope. England reached the semi-finals for the first time since Italia 90. They had momentum. They had a young squad. They had a manager who had rebuilt something fragile and made it functional. Then Croatia dismantled them in extra time. Hope collapsed into the familiar pattern. England arrived well-organized. England arrived prepared. 7 exits, 7 different reasons. And now in Miami, another white shirt walks toward the tunnel. Jude Bellingham, 22 years old, the youngest player in the squad, the one the country has decided carries the future, heading into the same dark corridor every generation before him has walked, carrying everything, having won nothing yet. From Beckham's red card in 1998 to the silence in the dressing room after the 2024 exit, different decades, the same invisible weight pressing down the moment a player pulls on that white shirt at a major tournament. Football's coming home. The song became a ritual, sung in airports before departure, sung in stadiums as hope built, sung as a prayer more than a prediction. But prayers can quietly curdle into something harder, and that harder thing is not the same as belief. At Euro 2021, England's most dangerous attacking player was Raheem Sterling. He was sharp, direct, decisive in the group stage, when the final still felt theoretical. Between the Gelsenkirchen opener and the Wembley semi-final, something shifted in how he moved. His body became tighter. His first touch, always a weapon, began to hesitate. It was visible in how he held himself before set pieces, arms slightly closer to his body, jaw set, scanning the stands rather than the box. The tournament was no longer a possibility, it had become an obligation. The 1966 final was supposed to be the beginning of something. Instead, it calcified into the only thing. 60 years of football talent, and the conversation always, eventually returns to one game played in black and white. The Lionesses changed something. England's women have won European championships. They reached World Cup finals. They released some of the pressure that sat uniquely on the men's program for decades. But the men's side carries 1966. That is their particular inheritance, and it shows every time the knockout rounds arrive and something tightens in the way they play. Because belief is open, it asks only that you try. Expectation is closed. It says, you owe us this. And no footballer has ever played his best football under the logic of a debt. Norway have never stood here before. A World Cup quarter-final, the first in their history. They finished second in Group 1 behind France. They won 2 knockout matches. Perhaps England's greatest rival across 60 years has never been Germany, or Argentina, or Italy, or any team that stood across the center circle. Perhaps the real opponent has always been expectation itself, the invisible pressure that no tactical system can neutralize, the weight that cannot be left in the dressing room. The Lionesses proved that England football does not have to be permanently defined by absence. Success is possible, joy is possible, football coming home, in some form, is possible. But for the men's side, the path back to that feeling runs directly through the monument, through 1966, through the myth they were handed and the reality they have lived. Through 16 World Cups and the particular mathematics of near misses, through every penalty that hit the post, every quarterfinal that slipped away, every summer that ended earlier than the country needed. Maybe this is the generation. Maybe Miami Stadium on July 11th, 2026 is the night England stop playing against their own history and start writing something new. Maybe. But the hardest battles in football are never the ones decided by the scoreboard. They are decided in the 60 seconds before kickoff, when the noise drops, and a player stands alone with everything his nation has ever asked of him. You already know what history remembers. What it never shows you is the silence just before, beyond the bench. This is beyond